Starting. We are live.
Hello.
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 Are we breaking the matrix right now with the number of screens that we're on?
Probably. Now I'm testing. Now
Well, I see the little live thing. Hangouts live.
The little live
I have a
thing
little
up in the
live.
corner.
Are you getting a signal on your YouTube page?
That's what I'm trying to do, to see it come up on YouTube, and there it is.
Awesome.
Hold on.
I'm sure with a delay of some kind.
Now, YouTube stream is pretty
yeah,
good.
So now it's playing over here on my right, the left-hand side of my screen.
Ooh, so meta.
So meta, yeah. So metal.
I don't even know what meta means anymore.
It's just meta, man. You know.
Like
there
Mega Man.
So that answers our question. It does stream live. Oh, Justin is frozen.
Okay, I got to stop this now.
Yeah, because you'll just keep looking at it.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
So it streams and records?
Yeah, it's streaming and recording. So the recording part of it will allow for us to edit it.
Right.
So, like if we want to add in music, if we want to add in cutaways or stuff like that, that's a functionality that happens post.
Right.
Right. So
Alex, is Justin on a little bit of a delay for you now that we started streaming? Justin, talk for a second.
Talking for a second.
Yeah, it's fine on yours.
On my end.
It's delayed a little bit on mine.
So so there's this thing called Creator Studio, which will allow us to edit it and put in different things.
Okay. Yeah.
Live stream, video manager, live streaming, analytics. Yeah. I think so. Add a widget.
Widgets.
Okay.
Your mom's a widget.
Your mom's a widget.
Your guys' mom is a widget.
Your mom's a midget.
Your mom's more of a midget.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Yeah. All right. So, if I'm going to moderate, let's start this silly thing. Hi, everybody. This is SIB Wars, Episode 1. This is Test. We are the Shame siblings, and we are geeks, and we love to talk about geek culture and geek activities, and whether that's movies or music or whatever it might be, this is the place for us to discuss it amongst ourselves and to share it with all of you. I'm Justin. I'm the oldest. I was born and raised on geeks. My parents are geeks, so it's strong in all three of us. Amy?
Yes, the Force does strong. It runs strong within all of us. I'm Amy. I'm the middle. I'm the Jan of the group, so to speak.
So that makes me Marsha.
Yes.
Marsha and Alex is the forgotten Cindy.
That was Susie or whatever her name was?
Cindy.
I'm sorry. I didn't watch the Brady Bunch. Excuse me.
Right. And what's great about SIB Wars is that we're also generational. Justin and I are Gen X, and our little brother here is Gen Y. We will not refer to him as the millennial name.
The M word will not be bespoken on us.
No, it won't, because we don't believe in that.
Thank you.
And yes, I was probably forced into geekiness at first as a girl, and having it shoved down my throat and being forced to watch things on TV, and I grew to love it, and it is part of my life, and I'm very excited that we are all here to discuss things and things and things.
And many things. And I am the youngest. I am the Gen Y baby of the group. Geek parents as well. Raised in geekdom, I would say, but not the biggest. There were certain things that I would attach myself to. I wouldn't consider myself to be the geekiest of geeks, but I am looking forward to this wonderful whatever we want to call it, where we get to kind of shed our. Not that there's really much hiding in geekdom anymore. It seems like geekdom's a part of the everyday lexicon of pop culture, whatever you want to call it. American
taking over.
culture in general. So
America.
numbers are strong. America. Yeah, we're gonna make
America!
America geeky again. That's our tagline: making America geeky.
Making America geeky.
And no.
So the way this will work is we've got a bunch of topics that we're going to talk about and little areas that we like to refer back to every week. And since we've called this SIB Wars, the main focus of our little chat here will be a war between the three siblings. Today's topic that we'll get to in a little bit is the best and worst book-to-movie adaptations.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm really interested to see what everybody came up with. So
And these are purely opinions,
Yes.
so they can't be wrong or right. Because
but we won't argue as if they can be wrong or right.
Yes.
That's the
But our first segment is called Topical Topics.
Topical topics.
The topics that are topical.
Here, I can go get the guitar and play a little lick.
So I like the numbers. I'm the numbers guy, and so today and every week we'll start off with how was the box office this weekend, what geeky movies were up on top, and what's coming out if we have anything coming up. Top 5 this week on the charts were Deadpool.
I was going to say,
yet again.
Guess that.
And let us all expose our shame as geeks that we have not seen this movie yet.
I haven't seen it. It's been out for however.
So excited to see it. We were so revved up, and I don't know what the fuck happened, but I will hang my head in a moment of geeky shame that we geek shame not seen Deadpool.
We've heard everybody wax poetic and say how amazing it is. Still haven't.
I did have a chimichanga the other day though, and I
very nice.
I don't know if that counts as something.
A little redemption there, just a tiny bit.
Did you kill anyone to get it?
I thought about it. The delivery was really far behind, so I thought about it, but I don't know.
And second position was the awful Gods of Egypt.
How was that not lower than 2? That should be -9.
Here's the thing: is that
-9.
It opened with $14 million at the box office, but it cost $140 million to make.
Oh, so
that does not include the marketing budget behind it. That's just the production dollars on that movie. So it will be a flop.
Well, you don't think even like worldwide after all is said and done?
You don't think that the Chinese movie market is going to eat up something that's just full of explosions and grandeur and blah-de-blah? They've done it before with other turds, you know.
Well, I guess that's why we keep getting Transformer movies as crappy
and Ninja Turtle movies by Michael Bay too. Thanks, Michael Bay.
Well,
I remember when I saw the trailer for it. I forget what movie we were at, and I leaned over.
Wars. It was Star Wars.
Yeah, it was Star Wars. And I leaned over to Alex and I said, "This is not Sparta." Because it was so weird. It was like, what the fuck is Gerard? But this is not Sparta.
The whitest people ever to be from Africa in the history of movies.
Another prime example of Hollywood whitewashing.
Yes.
Question: Will you watch it when it is on demand or on a cable channel for shits and giggles? Will you take the time?
On a cable channel, yes, not on demand. I will not pay extra to see that movie.
Alex, you're saying no?
I would only watch it in the most troll and for the lulz part possible. Like, I wouldn't make it through though. I know I wouldn't. I was gonna do that with another movie the other night that I was watching. A quick tangent. I was gonna do that with Furious 7. I ended up getting caught up and wrapped up in it because I'm a dork. I'm a huge dork. But that's the kind of that would be the only circumstance that I would watch that movie. I have no desire to see Gerard Butler or Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
Well, I'll say this as the female of the group. I would love to see both of them, and I love the way they look and dress. Exactly. I was not upset to see Gerard Butler dressed up like a gladiator again, but I would not spend the money to see it. But I probably would watch it on demand. Could it be are the reviews terrible? Could it be a movie that reviews are terrible, but it's still number 2?
No.
Okay.
It's if you go on There was a
Rotten
review,
Tomatoes?
not even Rotten Tomatoes. There was a review, I think, on IO9 that essentially said, like, this movie is so bad that it should generate the apocalypse. People should.
Oh boy.
People could go out killing each other and murdering, and no one would care because it would just be because the reason this movie exists is that the apocalypse is here essentially.
Oh God.
So
Okay.
Anyways,
I'll quickly run down the other
please.
top three, and then we'll move along. Kung Fu
Okay.
Panda was in third spot, and that's been out for like
okay.
5 weeks. The latest retelling of the Jesus Christ story, The Risen, was in number 4. Yeah, nobody even.
Okay.
It's.
I haven't. I'm surprised down here in Skeeter Country. I haven't seen any advertisements on the television for that one.
Oh, I've seen advertisements for it.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
And in in the 5th position was a new movie called 999.
Yes.
It's this guy, the guy who plays Falcon, Mackie. What the heck is his first name?
Bob
No, not Bob.
Bob Mackey. Yeah. What
No,
about?
not Bob Mackie. He's not designing dresses for Cher.
not.
They're
There you
playing
go.
Falcon at the same
There you
time.
That would be an interesting mix, though.
It was interesting. Here we go. 999. Because I heard about this movie. I listened to when I can't listen to normal satellite radio, I have to use my phone app. I listen to the Jason Ellis show, who's an ex-skateboarder, MMA fighter guy. He has a very funny radio show.
Anthony
Mackie. He was on that show doing press for the movie. And Jason said that he really liked it because it's a very, cop crime drama thriller.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It sounded interesting. I would be willing to. I wouldn't, that might be like a dollar theater type of go.
Yeah.
IMDb $4.99 on demand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
IMDb is giving it 6.7 out of 10.
Well, not bad.
Rotten Tomatoes 54%, and
great.
Metacritic 52% for that movie.
Well,
But I think it's one of those. I think, like Alex said, it's one of those cop kind of criminal thing. Where like I'd pay $4.99 on demand to watch it.
To watch that, I would too. It would be worth the time and money.
No.
All right, so that's the box office.
Those are the numbers.
So now we're going to go to our next segment, which is called Headlines, and we're going to rotate who leads off on this. And this week it's Alex taking the lead.
Okay. Well, I'm glad then that it's me, because that will leave to it's. Anyways, topping off on something else that we talked about earlier. So my geekdom. It was funny. I didn't realize it was my turn. My geeky news is actually going to dive a little bit into. I don't know if it's obscure, but I think that it's worth mentioning. So this year, 2016, is as the millennial Gen Y representative, the 20th anniversary of the Pokemon franchise. And to celebrate this, Nintendo and Pokemon are releasing a whole bunch of, cool, I think are pretty cool things. The first of which you may have seen the ad for during the Super Bowl is this game called Pokemon Go, where basically the concept is it's like your standard Pokemon game, but it's a phone game. It's a phone app. And I've only seen the trailers and I've been able to read up very little about it. But the whole concept is that it's supposed to immerse you in this as world of your own world rather than playing on a Game Boy and walking through a section. You'd be walking down the hall to work and there would be a wild Pikachu in the corner and you could throw a Pokeball at it and catch it and catch all these Pokemon. That led me to this very cool story that I would like to screen share if it'll allow me to do this. So here we go. As I was searching, here we go. This is going to look a little strange. Hopefully it'll work first try. Start screen share. So this is, nope. Yeah, here we go.
Yep, I saw that.
You can see this.
I saw that.
It's tiny
this is the
on
story that
my
I saw the other
screen.
day. It's
Too
well, I'm
close
sorry that
up.
there's a video that I'm going to do. Basically,
What the heck is it? Oh, wait, let me click.
I'll also explain it too. So
There we go, I got it.
Pokemon card game, they had these holographic special cards that were special editions, and this company decided to try and take that holographic idea and turn them into Pokemon holograms. So the idea here is that these little squares, as you see them, hopefully there's no ad, and I'm going to try and put it on full screen. There you go. So there you go. You've got your Charizard on one side, waiting for this Pokeball to come out, and the idea is going to eventually be for full hologram virtual reality battling. And they've already been talking to some people from Nintendo about developing something as like an add-on to a new Pokemon franchise. So I just thought that was pretty cool. That
I don't see anything, unfortunately. There we go.
Yeah, it's not really moving.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's
No, there you
just
go.
keep it on small. Just keep it on small screen.
Keep
For
it
me,
on small screen. Okay.
yeah, when I can see it moving on the small screen, not when you go to big.
I don't know if you could, there's only a couple more seconds left in the video anyways, but I just thought that was pretty cool and pretty interesting.
How are they creating these holograms? What
Well,
are they?
I will say I did take as you can see here, I did take the article from geek.com here. Let me get out of screen sharing so I can go back to myself.
You're back.
How do I do that? Am I back?
And you're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay,
And
fantastic. And we're back. So, the holograms are created with a projection from the top, a normal computer monitor, and a larger reflective surface. So it's,
So is it something that you can do on your phone?
No, it's not like, I mean, that would be awesome if you could figure out a way to get like a Pokemon hologram to come up out of your phone and like is you talking about like going against another phone that also has a hologram built up and doing like a battle like that? That would be very cool. I imagine that they're going to try and incorporate it into some type of Nintendo DS type device or something like that. You have your 3DSs and whatnot. Again, I don't know if this is, I just thought it was a pretty cool piece of nerdiness that, this video game, this animated, computer totally controlled, what used to be 8 or 16-bit back in the day is now being transformed into not real, but as real as virtual reality can get in the form of holograms. So that was my geeky headline of the week. And I know it's a week old, but I still thought that it was cool enough to hang on to for the segment. So
That's cool.
That's
Yeah, that's cool. I'll give a little sneak peek of something that I saw today that I'll be sending you guys a video of. Speaking of virtual reality, a gamer YouTuber that I watch, his name is Jacksepticeye, and he just put on a video of him playing with the new, I forget the company that it's by, that made a new virtual reality game system. I don't know if anyone has seen the Oculus Rift.
Mm-hmm.
And this is on a whole completely different, insane technological scope. And he was lucky enough to get an early release of this system. And it actually incorporates cameras into your room, and you are fully immersed. With the Oculus, you have to be seated, and things just look like they are in front of you. But wait till you see, I think, we'll talk about it next week. I want you guys to see the video, and it does tie in with the virtual reality because it was insane. So game-wise, we'll do that next week because it's definitely a video I want you guys to watch and see, like the next incarnation of virtual reality and gaming. It's absolutely amazing.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So I think Amy's next, right, on headlines, or is it you, Justin?
It's Amy.
Well, I didn't do one particular headline. I did topical topics as just a few things that I wrote down to maybe shoot out and see what you guys thought. First of all, I wrote down about the possibility and rumor out there now that George Miller could possibly be involved with the Justice League movie. Everybody else read that?
Again?
Okay. I didn't read that. What do you mean again?
Well, before the writer's strike a few years ago, George Miller was in the process of putting together a whole Justice League movie,
And there's
and then it all
actually going
fell
to be
apart.
there's actually, what's interesting about that, Justin, there's going to be a documentary about that whole situation that happened with George Miller trying to do that. So
A la how the documentary that came out this past year, the what happened to Superman, the death of Superman Lives.
Yes, which I just watched. I just watched that this past weekend.
is that on Netflix?
We'll have to save that for a separate conversation because I want to hear your thoughts on it.
No, it's not on Netflix. It's on Showtime.
Oh, I'm going to have to read about it. Yeah, so that's something new that I read about George Miller, so I just wanted to, get thoughts. And the reason why it seems Justin's taking a trip to Nepal, that it is just a rumor right now, but that he has, been tied in to the Justice League before, and that hopefully this will be something that is, will make it easier, facilitate make it more of a reality and a possibility.
It's like an advisor, some kind of.
Well, I read producer. I didn't read director.
Zach is directing it.
Right.
Right. So I did read, that there's a possibility that he is going to be involved in the next bunch. So there's that out there. Take a read. The other one I wanted to just quickly touch on were some interviews, Star Wars related, that have been going around lately. Have you guys been seeing this whole thing about JJ talking about openly gay characters in the Star Wars franchise?
I saw that.
Thoughts? Necessity? Anyone?
I mean,
risk not being PC. I don't give a shit.
No,
I don't give a shit. I guess if it's integral to the storyline in some way, but it's just I kind of don't get it.
I'm all for homosexuals being in whatever that they want to be in. If there's a reason for it to be part of the story, fine. But if it's just being shoehorned in there to be shoehorned in there, that seems a little off.
Yeah, as a part of pop culture, it being such
it's
a thing
galaxy,
that's talked about now and
far, far away.
Right.
To
me, what's odd about all of this is I don't even see the need for there to be any kind of announcement. If this was Jay, and it might have been, again, I don't know the context. Maybe it was in response to some kind of Q&A.
Well, yeah, it wasn't it's definitely going to happen, and he's making, but he's saying that, of course, within the galaxy there is a possibility
I just feel like, again, if it's something that's integral to the plot, then it will just be, it will develop and hopefully be developed in a good way and hopefully be cultivated in a realistic way.
Well, there's been this rash of fan fiction that got developed post the movie of
Poe and Finn, right?
Poe and Finn in a gay relationship.
Yeah.
Fan art and fan fiction and okay, fine. You want to do that? Go right ahead.
It's fan fiction. It's completely separate.
I mean, like I said, I have no problem with homosexuality whatsoever. If you're putting it in there just to put it in there, that seems kind of odd.
Yeah, that's too.
It's like baiting. It's
It's like, look at us. We have a gay relationship now. We're the modern progressive. You don't need to do that. You don't need to make that a part. And that's to me
and then
odd of JJ's,
And then it'll be and then we're gonna have a transgendered character.
I would like aliens.
Can we find out that Chewbacca's gay?
Well, he does love Han. There's no denying that. He
He's his hetero life mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We know about those.
We're also like we're talking about aliens who their version of admiration or sexuality or reproduction might not have anything to do with gender or male or female or penises and vaginas or gay or straight or whatever. That to me is the kind of like I'm kind of having a like what the fuck movie, because it's like, why are we making this assumption that there has to because the universe is infinite, there must be gay characters in this fake storybook space universe that we've created for ourselves? Like, just let it be. Let it be. In the words of Paul, let it be.
Seems a little forced.
All right, well, I'm glad I brought that one up. And the other thing that I quickly wrote down is, did anyone read the quick little interview that Daisy Ridley gave at the Oscars? I did write down just one quick quote, and they went back to, what's the name of the mountains in Scotland?
Ski League or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So they've already started, filming that, and they asked her about it, and she said that, Mark Hamill is amazing, and it's been so great working with him. So they went back there for the filming, and her last quote in the thing is, she says, "It's such a cool story, seriously. Luke is so cool in this one, really." So I think that, she gave, I guess we should have all anticipated that this is going to be like Luke's story, I think, for the next two movies coming up.
I don't think for the next two. I think for this one. I think the most interesting thing about all that is that this will be the first time in the it's not in the new in any of the movies where there's no time jump. So what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is that the movie is going to open up where the first one ended, where Seven ended, which has never happened before. There's always a time jump, that allows there to be a gap in the story, and this is just going to pick up. Boom, we're right back into it, which is kind of different than what they've done before.
I'm expecting like Luke's like Yoda moment when we open up, like for 8, exactly like what Justin said, and obviously she's working with him there, so maybe that's his Dagobah.
Well, I mean, if you're drawing the direct comparison, sure, it would be. Much nicer, in my humble opinion, than Dagobah. But I think that this is going to be a struggle for both of them. I don't think that Luke is the kind of Jedi Master that Yoda was, or possibly ever will be, in my humble opinion, because I think that Yoda never had the kind of pull towards the dark side that Luke has. That we know of, that I know of. So I think that this is going to be a little more now that he has to, because the last time he had to train anyone, it failed kind of terribly.
Well, we don't know.
Kylo, right?
Yeah, we don't know what happened. He trained Kylo. He's a good fighter,
yes, but he turns to the dark side and he believes a giant alien from Signs. So
we don't know that he's a giant. It was a hologram.
I understand. I was trying to. Anyway.
Was that Andy Serkis? Am I mental?
Yes,
okay.
It was. You are correct.
He is just the career path that man has taken. It's amazing.
Totally.
And
right.
my last topical topic is something, since we are multi-generational as well, and babysitting Alex, this was a big part of me watching it too. I thoroughly enjoyed it, along with many other Nickelodeon things, and it is that Nickelodeon will be making a TV movie of Legends of the Hidden Temple. The premise I have read is that it is 3 siblings.
Yay.
Could it be us?
Yeah, I didn't even put two and two together. I'm just sitting here shaking my head. Anyways, continue.
Yes, so the quick premise that I read is that it's three siblings overcoming like the same kind of challenges and things that had to be done in the game, but for life or death. They actually used those...
Cake or death.
Cake or death. They actually did use that quote, which I kind of found interesting for it being Nickelodeon. But again, you know, Nickelodeon is going through this whole resurgence of '90s nostalgia. So
yes, well, they have their own now. There's the blah blah blah.
I think they also are making a Hey Arnold.
Now, the Splat. Well, the Hey Arnold.
I also read that they might be making a Hey Arnold TV movie.
Yes,
so.
I read that as well. So I'm going to take a moment here, as you two know, watching me grow up with this show, how much I loved this show growing up. I am just in such a why state of mind right now. If you're going to bring back Legends of the Hidden Temple, just bring it back as a game show. Why do we need to dramatize the story of a kid's game show for life or death? Ooh, and Olmec's going to be there, and the temple guards are going to be there, and they're going to try and eat people. And it's like, come on, and I'm all for excuse me, adding severity and darkness to elements of my childhood. Like, I would love to... Oh, Justin's... Kick or death.
Kick or death?
Like dark superhero movies, like Deadpool, which I still need to see, a darker Batman, a dark Ninja Turtles, a dark whatever. Like, sure, I'm for it, generally speaking. But Legends of the Hidden Temple...
I was surprised when I first saw the headline. I clicked on it before reading it fully, and I was really hoping that they were just going to bring it back as a game.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like think of like how far things have come, how awesome the set could be, and they could make it, and the games and stuff like that. I thought that would be really cool. I think bringing back Guts would be really cool. Like make it like a teen version of like American Ninja Warrior.
I would lie about my age and go try and get on that show so many times. I would love to see a Guts reboot, but you know the market I don't think is there. You at this point you're appealing to '90s kids, and then you're trying to appeal to the kids of '90s kids at the same time.
Well, they've done a pretty good job of it. I mean, putting all of those great '90s cartoons back on that people watched.
Right, there was clearly a demand for it.
Right,
people wanted '90s Nicktoons back, and they got their own channel as a consequence. It was a block, and now they have the Splat, which is all just that stuff all the time. It's great. It's awesome.
Is Ren and Stimpy on the Splat?
Yes.
Ren and Stimpy is like one of the cornerstones. I would say the cornerstones of the Splat are Ren and Stimpy, Hey Arnold, Cat Dog, Doug, and Rugrats.
Doug.
Yeah, I'm not.
Doug was the best.
To me, Cat Dog was like the tail end.
No pun intended.
And again, I was born in '91, so I only caught, like, I found out that those runs of shows that I watched as a kid of Legends of the Hidden Temple were the first series of reruns. Like, when that show was new on television, I was a toddler or an infant. So it's not like I was watching these things live.
You should use that to introduce the main war.
To me, it's like...
When I was looking for this.
There you go. SpongeBob to me is the last Nicktoon. Thanks.
SpongeBob is only good from like when it started to like 2004 for me. Those are like the best SpongeBob years.
After that,
and then things
one
have gone
exception.
We got to wrap up this thing.
Oh yes, please, yeah.
Yes.
So
well, those were my little talking points that I picked up along the way. So.
All right, this is for future. This has gone on too long.
Really?
Agreed.
Yeah, it's already 10:15.
We didn't start right at, by the way. We started closer to a quarter till. So it's been a half an hour.
All right, so I'm going to run through my 3 little headline points, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
So the two of mine are Marvel, and one of them is a tech geek thing. So Fox has rejiggered their movie slate again. One of the next big Marvel movies for them was supposed to be the Gambit movie starring Channing Tatum, and that got pushed to 2018.
Gambit?
Gambit.
He's
I will just announce right now that. Well, I will just announce right now that for future reference to anyone that might ever watch this, that I am the non-Marveliest Marvel of the Marvels. I've not seen one Marvel movie, not an Iron Man.
You're
gonna
have to correct that for this podcast. You realize?
I'm a DC girl. I plenty of DC stuff coming up. I need not mess with your Marvel.
Okay. Anyway,
go ahead, speak of it.
So Gambit is a mutant. He's from Louisiana.
Wait a minute, a Marvel character that's a mutant? Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, but Marvel doesn't own these characters anymore. They're all over Fox.
I'm looking for my cards to throw at the camera.
In the great sell-off of the early 90s.
90s, yep.
So anyway, they moved that movie out and up to 2018. And in its place, they've put in 2 movies with no titles. The assumption is that it could be Deadpool 2, which they're already working on.
Yeah, of course.
Or this other mutant title called X-Force, which is also a Deadpool-related title. The other item from Marvel and also from Fox is regarding Wolverine 3, which could be the last appearance of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. The big news there is that they might be bringing back Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth.
Ooh, okay.
He was in the first Wolverine as Sabretooth, and he was also in the Origin. He was in the Origins movie as Sabretooth. The first Sabretooth in the original X-Men was a guy named Tyler Mane, who was an ex-wrestler. But Liev Schreiber was really good, and he was one of the highlights of that horrible Wolverine Origins movie, which also starred Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool the first time.
Is the first time.
Did anyone see that YouTube video or just video going around of Ryan Reynolds hijacking and interviewing Hugh Jackman for Eddie the Eagle?
I've seen it, but I haven't sat through it and watched
It's really funny. Because of course they make jokes about Ryan Reynolds in that about Deadpool in that horrible movie.
Yeah. So the last one I wanted to is a share screen thing as well. I don't know if either of you are aware or follow robotics and where it's going and how it's advancing rapidly, mainly for military usage and things like that. But there's this company up in Massachusetts called Boston Dynamics, which is, I think, actually owned now by Google or Alphabet, whatever the hell they might be today. And their humanoid version of their robot system just got this latest amazing new redesign and upgrade. If you've seen any of these videos in the past, these robots have always been tethered so that they're in a lab setting, and they've got these wires coming out of the back of them so that they're powered by direct current. Well, they've now slimmed down these robots and they've put battery packs in them. And I'm just going to show you this one clip here where this guy, when the robots take over, this will be the start of the reason why.
So instead of a zombie apocalypse, we're going to have a robot apocalypse?
Full disclosure, I've seen this, but I will watch it again happily.
He's
just such a dick.
But this
And
robot.
it's so weird because, like, when you watch this and Alex says something like that, he's such a dick. It's like you feel empathy for this fucking robot. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
like this poor robot. And that's going to be the problem. It's going to be like I am robot.
And the reaction should be, oh, wow, look at that. The robot's aware. And all I'm thinking is, wow, that guy with the hockey stick is a total dick.
Right, watch this.
This is great. I love it.
So mean.
Oh, wait, watch.
Aw, I watch him struggle to get up.
Don't struggle.
And he
Look at
does
that.
get up. It does
He
get
should
up.
turn around and punch him in the face.
Watch. He's running away.
Bye.
Aw,
I'm out of here.
Bye, Atlas.
that's the problem.
So
Well, it
that
will
was-
be. That's going to be, So I can't remember who. I'm stealing this from either John Oliver or Trevor Noah, but this is going to be on the robot version of Roots. Not my joke, but
No, but that's good.
But a good one, one. One quick thing on robotics, and unfortunately I don't have the capability to screen share, but I did just watch a very interesting, you guys know how much I'm into Japan and Japanese culture, and speaking of robotics, I did just watch a video about a new type of hotel that you can stay in on the outskirts of Tokyo, where... Huh?
and have robot sex.
Nope. Well, maybe that'll be something eventually.
I was going to say, it is Japan.
It's all run by robots. So you walk into the front desk, and there's an animatronic woman, and there's also a dinosaur. And the person that went in decided to get checked in by this dinosaur wearing a little fucking hat. And everything is done completely by robotics. It's the whole hotel, the way that
It'll be just like our animatronic T-Rex Disney experience, but in a hotel.
In a hotel, yes. T-Rex can check you in, but then again, they do have the creepy, realistic looking things. So it's coming.
It's a weird place, though.
It's coming.
Yes. Okay.
And even the way they take your luggage, there's a machine, you just put it in there, it takes your luggage, opens up a safe, puts it in the safe for you, and gives you the key to the safe. It's very strange. So
Keep it
let's
secret.
get into the meat of it.
Yes.
I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
really.
I am too.
So today's war, as we discussed earlier, like hours ago,
Oh, stop.
was your choices for the best and worst book to movie adaptation. And since Alex led off on headlines and I started off the show, we're going to let Amy start this discussion.
Okay, so are we going to discuss, you want to just go through best first and go around and then go through worst? Because I think it might convolute the
Sure, let's do that.
discussion.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Number one best, and then we can divulge from there, and then number one worst of each, and we can divulge from there.
Okay. Well, I don't know how difficult this was for you guys. This was,
Difficult.
I thought, going to be really difficult for me. I had my first one picked in mind, I'll just say, was Interview with a Vampire for number one. But the more I thought about it, and what evoked the most emotion from me was, for me, best book to movie adaptation, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, first movie.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going there because, and here are my reasons. For me, it was one of the most anticipated movies of all time for me. You grow up reading these, and I even get like little goosebumps thinking about it now. That's how much it meant to me. And I remember the feeling of seeing Hobbiton for the first time, that opening screen, and seeing the Hobbit hole, and seeing what Peter Jackson created and seeing everything come to life, and how great Weta was in that movie, and the use of actual real, people instead of any kind of CGI or anything like that. Weta did an incredible job. The production was incredible. I think that they did the best, that they could, timing-wise and everything. We know that the trilogy all came together very well. But for me, that definitely was the one that evoked the most emotion and that I went with. So for me, it was the very first one.
Interesting choice.
Okay. Alex?
Okay, so this was, and definitely on with you, Amy, a difficult choice for me. Because, especially with keeping it to book to movie adaptations, there were other adaptations of films that I felt like spoke strongly to me. Some may even more so than books, but the one that I kept, it was 2 and 3 that I kept tossing back and forth. I guess I'll kind of round it out. I was going to go with initially. I was going to go with The Silence of the Lambs because although I saw that in reverse order, I saw the movie first and then read the book. I had struggled to find another example that was able to take the material that was on page and translate it to screen as honestly and as accurately as that one did for me. And an honorable mention goes to, as a precursor to that, the 1986 movie Manhunter, with Brian Cox starring as Hannibal Lecter. To me, another really good one. As much as I enjoyed the Anthony Hopkins, Ralph Fiennes, Ed Norton Red Dragon remake, it's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of Manhunter, and Manhunter is just a brilliant film, but I really had to boil it down to an adaptation that in the end really wasn't 100% from the page source material, but just made such an amazing piece of artwork that to me spoke volumes. And my number one is Apocalypse Now from Sir Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. To me, Heart of Darkness is my all-time favorite book of all, number one. And I thought, because our English teacher, Mr. Lemieux, explained it to us, because we just read the book, he was going to show us the movie, that this is an adaptation. This is 1960s Vietnam. This is not colonial British Africa in the 19th century. So you really have to put yourself in that mindset. And I mean, between the soundtrack, the cinematography, the acting, and able to take the main points, the main meat of that story, and translate it into what I guess then would have been considered a modern, but most semi-modern, kind of modern setting, was just, it to me just spoke way and above every other attempt to try and keep something true or to try and go off on its own tangent. It did both at the same time, and I struggle to think of another movie that was able to pull that off in such a fashion. So that's my number one, Apocalypse Now.
That's interesting and surprising. I enjoyed hearing that.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes. So yeah, my number one, Apocalypse Now from Heart of Darkness. Thank you.
I got no applause because I'm the Jan, and everybody just remembers Marcia and Cindy. Forget it.
That's cruel. I can't stand behind that.
It's okay. All right. And now the Big Brother announcement.
Yes, here we go.
I'm very curious to hear this.
I really struggled with this a lot because, like Alex said, there's lots of things that are adaptations of things, but when it comes to book to movie, I think it's difficult. And I think I did write down Lord of the Rings, and I kind of had the whole trilogy there. as.
See, I didn't think that was fair.
No, that could have been fair because it
Yeah.
was, because I wouldn't have put The Hobbit because I thought that, in retrospect, looking back, the Hobbit movies, I think they suck. I think there's 1 3-hour movie that could have been made that did not need to be,
Yes.
7 hours of Hobbits.
Where's the applause button?
But Lord of the Rings, like Amy said, for me, and I know she loved those books. I know Alex loved those books. But I read those books, many, many times as a kid, and to finally hear that was being made, and I thought that the true version is the extended versions of each of those films, and it's just the breadth and the detail and the way that they were able to pull everything together is quite a phenomenal feat. And I thought, I thought about Dune for a long time because I do love that movie. But I did that, kind of reverse order, like Alex said about, Apocalypse, about Silence of the Lambs, where I saw the movie Dune as a kid and was not able to make a dent into that book until I was in my 20s. So.
And taped over Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for it.
Taped over Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for it. Yes, I did.
Oh, yes.
I'll never forgive you.
Never going to live it down.
I got it. So I weighed a lot of different things in my head, and where I netted out with was To Kill a Mockingbird.
Ooh,
yes.
I did look at that one, and especially this was right around the time when Harper Lee died.
Right.
When we were, when we had picked this topic a week or so ago, and that was up there for me. And funny enough, that is Justin. I don't know if you know, that's Mom's favorite book and movie.
I thought it was. It's one of my favorite books all time. It was, definitely one of those books in high school that you read, and then seeing that movie and Gregory Peck's performance in that film, and Robert Duvall, and just the entirety of what that movie was from a cultural standpoint, and the almost word for word adaptation from the book to the film. Mm-hmm. To me, it's one of the greatest films ever made. I would probably put it in one of my top 10 film lists, as well as that book. It's probably one of my all-time favorite books. I haven't read it in quite some time, but it's one of those books that you could read in a day, kind of thing. It's not a tome. It's it's a quick read. So that's my favorite.
Excellent choice, I gotta say. Very well constructed arguments and reasoning all around, I must say. Very Stockian in our delivery.
Yeah, and really not like much to argue about when it comes to best, because I think we all like what everybody said, and I'm glad to hear that the Lord of the Rings trilogy got an honorable mention from you, Justin.
Thank you.
It was just hard for me because and as far as we're talking about adaptations of that type of a story, Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson is one of the best. It's so hard to encapsulate that world in such a detail that Tolkien provides it. No one's ever going to do it better. I mean, how many hours of movie do we have with the extended editions? It's like 11 hours of movie.
It's awesome, man.
I honestly believe that that's one of those ones that will never get a remake.
No, you can't.
In
this day and age where everything gets remade.
No, I know. That's what terrifies me.
This will sound blasphemous, right? But I'll put it up there with, like, you'll never remake The Godfather. You'll never remake Citizen Kane. You'll never remake the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Honorable mention also came from a book, The Godfather. I've never read it, but...
No, neither have I.
But
it's fairly close from what I understand, because Mario Puzo wrote the screenplay with Coppola.
And he won an Oscar for it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Any other honorable mentions? Hold on, real quick. Any other honorable mentions before we move on to the worsts? Anything that hasn't been touched? Anything that would like to be brought up for good? I mean, I'm surprised. I will say this: having our father that no one went with Jurassic Park.
Because it's not true to the book.
Okay.
Yeah, the book is much more
No, I agree. But I wouldn't
detail oriented. Well,
I
it just didn't pop in my mind.
It's certainly
That's
not
why-
at my bottom.
That's why I was surprised that you picked Apocalypse Now, because it's not.
Well,
that's truly an adaptation.
Agreed, but that's again, the category is adaptation.
You're right,
but at the same time, to me, it was able to speak true in both. I mean, if you read the book and obviously setting, everything changes, but the story is the same. The progression of the characters is the same. The ultimate morals at the end are the same, even to the point of Marlon Brando himself saying the horror, just as what's his face, Kreutz, I can't even remember. I think the character name might have even been the same. To me, it was just such a good. There's no other movie in my mind that's able to live in both worlds, including Jurassic Park. But I wouldn't, I was the reverse. I saw Jurassic Park the movie and then read the Jurassic Park the book, and I really just did, some people give it a bad rap. Some
No. I love the movie, but it's not the book.
Okay, fair enough.
And Dad and I read that book when it first came out, and I remember you guys were living in Eatontown, and I was home from college, and I had to go to the Eatontown library to do research on Yes Kids. There was a library, and it had books and
I went to that library, Justin.
And I'm talking to the children out there in the world.
Sorry.
In the internets, in the interwebs.
That you actually used libraries for research.
To do
you had to
research.
go there.
And I was there at the library, and they had the most recent issue of Variety, and I was looking through Variety, and in a full-page ad Variety was the announcement that they were beginning work on Jurassic Park the movie, and that it was a Steven Spielberg production. I don't think I drove faster down 35 to get back to the house, because there was no cell phone to call Dad and say, hey, guess what? It was me taking a photocopy of that image and bringing it back to the house and going, Dad, look what I found at the library. Look at this. It's Spielberg's making Jurassic Park. So, all right.
Yeah, that was one of Daddy's favorite books.
All right, here we go.
Dad loved Michael Crichton.
Yeah, anything Michael Crichton.
I remember he wanted to see the Timeline movie when it came out, and he was very disappointed.
That's a bad version.
That's a bad one. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of bad.
Speaking of bad. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning really worse.
So I'll start on reverse order.
Okay.
So.
Why
there's
you start?
Because
so
I'm
many.
The big brother and I'm running this show.
It's Marsha, Jan.
Fine. Marsha.
Davy Jones is coming over soon. I got to get ready. So, I thought a lot about. There's so many bad ones.
Oh.
I mean,
so many.
There's bad.
Hold on, wait. One thing before we go to bed. My other, but Alex had just asked quickly about other honorable mentions, and my other one besides Interview with a Vampire was Prisoner of Azkaban. That particular one. I really thought, Justin didn't read the books, but I really thought, like, movie-wise, Prisoner of Azkaban was one of the best. The best out of the books, like the best translated movie. So that was my other honorable mention. So sorry, go ahead, Justin. I had to get that out there because it's fine. Harry Potter.
So
many bad.
So many bad, and for so many different reasons. And I've got a two-way tie.
Oh, okay.
And a runner-up.
Okay.
A two-way tie and a runner-up. No, this is not the way this is supposed to be.
I know, but I couldn't decide. So, my two-way tie for first place as the worst book-to-movie adaptations are Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat.
That was up there.
Oh, is the other one?
Ron Howard's the Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Oh, Christmas, yes. So the two Mike Myers.
I love the Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
No. I'm sorry.
I love it.
I'm with you on the Cat in the Hat, and the Grinch is an affront, in my opinion, to the Boris Karloff cartoon. So I'm definitely with you on that.
It's an affront to the Boris Karloff cartoon, and it's an affront to the book. You cannot take what was a 30-minute, 22-minute cartoon with commercials.
5-minute book.
My chance to talk here. No, it's not a 5-minute book. The Dr. Seuss books are like 60, 70 pages.
Okay, all right.
There's content there, but not enough for an hour and a half movie with I don't know what the hell Jim Carrey was doing in that costume.
Yeah,
the worst costume is the Cat in the Hat. That movie is just all sorts of bad. If you stuck to the book, if they had stuck to the book premise, it would have been okay. I love that book, and I read both those books to my kids all the time, especially Gavin. Gavin loves Dr. Seuss right now. It's all he wants to read is Dr. Seuss. And Cat in the Hat is his favorite book. I refuse to show him that movie because I do not want him to dislike Dr. Seuss.
Don't do it.
I just gotta say, since we're warring, I loved. To me, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the live action movie, was supposed. I don't even know how much I would consider it like a. I guess it has no choice but to be a book adaptation. Hold on, let me get my thoughts out, motherfucker. Okay. It is definitely a book adaptation, yes, but I thought it was awesome to see like everybody come to life and the Cindy Lou Who and all the Lou Who's, and I thought the makeup was great, and I thought Jim Carrey was great. I thought the dog Max was great. I don't know. I love that movie. But I will throw out there that this is coming from somebody who really enjoyed Dr. Dolittle 2.
That's right. I totally forgot about the Dr. Dolittle 2 story.
Oh, we're going to bring that up.
I'm just...
That was a barb. That was unnecessary, Amy.
It's a barb. It's a little barb. I'll give a little barb.
From the girl that loved Tim Burton's horrible Planet of the Apes debacle.
Ooh.
I didn't love it, but it was much better than frickin' Dr. Dolittle 2.
Dude, I almost fell asleep in Planet of the Apes by Tim Burton and Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah, I didn't give you a great review and be like, oh my god, you have to go see it, so awesome, and then sit in the movie the whole time and wait for it to get awesome.
Anyway.
Here's my spin on that.
So that's your number one, Justin? Grinch Who Stole Christmas?
Yes.
Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
You said it was a tie
with Cat in the Hat.
It's basically the Jim Carrey, Dr. Seuss.
It's
stump debacle.
They weren't both Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was
Mike
the
Myers.
I'm sorry. Mike Myers and Jim Carrey. Excuse me.
No, it's both of those movies to me are just horrendous.
Sorry, you're runner-up.
No,
okay. Yeah. So my issue that I have with that movie is
Which one?
With the Grinch.
Okay.
The Cat in the Hat's just terrible. I mean, there's nothing. The thing that was really the biggest sin for me in that movie is they tried to make the Grinch character something to me that the Grinch isn't. The Grinch is supposed to be pure bah humbug, grumpy, grouchy evilness, and they turned him into sarcastic, snarky marminess that Jim Carrey and Mike Myers sometimes likes to do.
They created this whole backstory.
And the backstory on top
of him being an ostracized child, and that's why he hated everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was adorable. I loved when he was the little Grinch. He almost reminded me of Eric the Midget, a.k.a. Eric the actor. Like, I loved it. Rest in peace, Eric the Midget.
Anyways, your runner-up to your two-way tie.
I have one more thing to share.
Uh-oh. Ack. Is that what you're going to share?
Okay. So then this is a personal thing. This is really personal.
The runner-up to your tie.
Yeah. Just because it's another one of my favorite books that no one seems to have gotten right yet. And it's been done twice. Once it starred Robert Redford, and the second one starred Leonardo DiCaprio.
Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they did with that.
Yeah, they're both not great. That's for sure.
They're not-
No, I didn't understand what they were doing with Great Gatsby. Yeah, I didn't.
And I love that book.
Dude, you really? I mean, the
I
DiCaprio
really
one
love that
isn't
book.
great. No.
Oh,
The DiCaprio one is not great. But I mean, is the Redford one panned too? I still haven't seen it, so
well,
I can't really say.
It's not. It's what I think the Baz Luhrmann version got right was what the hell is the actress's name? It's not Michelle Williams. Hold on.
Who played?
Well, that starred with Redford in it.
Redford's like Mia Farrow or something.
I think so.
That's interesting.
Hold on a second.
Who played?
Yeah, I've never
what's her
seen
name?
the Robert Redford version, so I cannot speak of.
Carrie Mulligan.
Carrie Mulligan.
Oh, okay. I know.
I love Carrie Mulligan.
Yeah, she's
Love
adorable,
Carrie
little
Mulligan.
pixie.
And I think they got her, the Daisy character, almost
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
But there's just something that no one seems to. They just. I don't know. There's something ethereal about that book. It's so
Can't
wistful
capture
and
it.
longing, and it's the. That's what was missing from the Leo character. Yes, he loved Daisy, but there's this want, this longing that I didn't get from him in the movie. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes put it at 48%. And let's see, the Robert Redford one was Mia Farrow. Daisy is played by Mia Farrow. I mean, the cast.
That makes sense to me.
The cast of the 74 one is Nick Carraway is played by Sam Waterston. Redford plays Jay Gatsby.
Yeah, I like Sam Waterston.
Mia Farrow is Daisy, and Bruce Dern plays Tom. So the cast is like, wow, that should be a great freaking movie.
And
but
it's not.
It's just not. You know, I mean, Redford, I don't know. I mean, I do love Robert Redford, but it's just not one of his best films. So, anyway, those are mine. And it could change tomorrow. There's
Yeah,
so many.
right.
Yeah, there were a lot. There were some
clunkers out there.
Alex.
All right. So there were quite. There was throughout my whole time of doing prep work for this, I kind of even didn't think about it because my number one was so obvious that I completely forgot that it wasn't a book. And so I've been doing this whole time. I know, right? So I've just been kind of lazy, because, all right, so this is my aside honorable mention. The worst film adaptation of any kind ever is The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan. That movie is such a giant turd, and he is such a dickwad.
It's not based on a book, so
anyways, so I had to
move
go
it
back.
along.
I had to go back, and I'm going to come back to that one. Swear to God. So I really had to go back over and think about, all right, well, if I'm really going to have an honest opinion on this kind of adaptation, I really can only suffice it to movies that I have seen and read. Because there are plenty of bad ones out there. Thank you. But no, because people still have an opinion on something. I mean, anyways.
No, it should be about something you've read or seen.
Right,
That's why
but people still.
I didn't put Silence of the Lambs because I didn't read that book.
Exactly. So my number one worst book to movie adaptation is The Golden Compass. And I know that you guys haven't read the Philip Pullman His Dark Materials series, which is The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and the Amber Spyglass. It's a brilliant piece of fiction. It, to me, is one of those.
The titles just sound stupid.
I know they sound. It's young fiction designed for teenagers. It harkens to like a Hunger Games. Not even Harry Potter was certainly more world encompassing, but something along those lines. And it had all of this really, and I really didn't fully appreciate it till I went back and reread it. But it had all this awesome. There was religious undertone. There was allegory allegory. I have oligarchy and allegory mixed up in my brain.
It's allegory?
Allegory, yeah, exactly. It's very gory. And it's just, there was so much subtlety to it within the plot line of the book, and it's also just really well written. There are these two characters named Will and Lyra who come from different dimensions, and they come together. It's very sci-fi. I think you would enjoy it. It's like this weird sort of cross between like steampunk 19th century aesthetic mixed with like modern sci-fi technology. It's very.
Oh, I saw the movie.
Oh, you did see the movie. So
Oh yeah.
let me assure you that the book is almost nothing like. To me, I'm watching this movie going like, this is just action. Here's one action sequence. Okay, here's another action sequence. Here's another action sequence. Here's another action sequence. Here's like no plot for you. Here's another action sequence. It was just action sequence, action sequence, action sequence, action sequence, and they were going to try and sell this movie as, look at this big action explosion. Yeah, it comes from a book, but look at this. And I know at one point that they were in like development hell of trying to get the other two movies made. And as a consequence of this giant turd shit bowl of a movie, that's never going to happen. And I will admit it's a personal connection, but a franchise that I loved, a book series that I read, the last book in that series was the first piece of literature that made me emotional, that moved me to tears. I will never forget it for the rest of my life. Yeah, fuck you.
In the immortal words of Artie Lang. Wah!
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Jan. Fuck you guys, seriously. Anyways, for them to take that in which I held such high regard and just shit all over. That's my worst. I'm done. You can move on. Next.
I have no argument for I have not seen the book or read the movie, or scratch that and reverse it, as Willy Wonka would say.
Oh, honorable mention, but only because I just recently read the original source material, the 2003 Daredevil movie.
Aren't those just all horrible?
Which source material did you read? I mean,
just the original, the origin story of Daredevil, origins comics, the first issue.
Yes. Oh, okay.
That's a book, right? That's a count.
Sure, but there's just so many comic books. I was just asking you for specific.
And I don't know if they've done a multiverse type of thing with Daredevil in the future, but I'm trying to talk about the original Matt Murdock. No,
there's no multiverse Daredevil. There's just Daredevil.
Okay, well then there you go. That's my honorable mention.
There you go.
Amy, Jan.
Okay. My quick honorable mentions are going to be a little on the girly side that probably won't connect to you guys, but for me, except for one book that's not a girly book, but my quick three honorable mentions are three, very quick. I'm just going to say the names. The Nanny Diaries, which was a great book and a horrible fucking movie.
Okay.
Shopaholic, which I know Justin Jocasta has read all the Sophie. She actually turned me on to Sophie Kinsella, and that series of books is so great. I'm picking up. She's writing more now, and I'm reading them. That was absolutely the worst. And my other one, which isn't so like girly, but if anybody has read it, the one that really popped into my head was Fried Green Tomatoes. Which was one of my favorite books that I had to read Fried Green Tomatoes for AP Humanities, and it is a spectacular book, and the movie is just absolutely horrible. But my worst of the worst, and it was mentioned earlier, as a matter of fact. And to prove it, I don't know if anyone can see what I wrote there, but my worst is The Hobbit.
Are you the entire franchise for the one book?
Well, here is my argument for The Hobbit. Again, a lot of excitement leading up to it. Also, a lot of tension because we all know the behind the scenes shit at this point now, what it took to get that movie made. But the facts of the matter that Alex and I were so stoked and so excited, and that book is just awesome. And again, I remember being forced to watch the Hobbit cartoon. When would they would like air it like once a year during some holiday time of some sort, and Justin, of course, had to have it on TV, and Justin got it. But so, like, that introduced me to it, and then reading the book. Yes, but it turned out good in the end. Yes, fuck me now, but we went, and when we got out of the car, it's funny because Alex and I recorded it. We had an idea to do, like, a podcast interview type of thing because we were so excited. And I remember one of the first words out of my mouth, first sentences out of my mouth, was that I felt like a horrible fangirl because I hated it. And that I hated it so much and thought it was so bad, I never even saw the second 2 installments. Never.
Wow.
Wouldn't, couldn't, won't, haven't, and just no. I thought that there could have been, like Justin had said earlier, there could have been 1 3-hour movie. I mean, there could have been a decent 2-hour movie made. I don't know what Peter Jackson decided to do with all of the great work that Weta did in the first trilogy, and why he used so much CGI, and so it just looked horrible, looked nothing like the. Yeah, I see dollar bill, y'all. Looked nothing like the previous world that he created. There was not enough realism to pull me in. Reading parts of The Hobbit is difficult enough when all the dwarves are singing every fucking line and doing that. And you expect it in a Tolkien book and whatever, but I don't want to see it on the screen for half an hour of, all the dwarves. And anyway, I'm passionate about hating the adaptation of The Hobbit into movie form from the book, hands down. I went full circle Lord of the Rings and Tolkien for mine.
I respect your passion, and we've talked about this at length. So I'm not I'm not going to fully engage in a war to try and talk you down. But worst seems even harsh for this adaptation, because I didn't think it was. There were parts of the 3 films that I enjoyed watching, and I feel like that there are other movies out there that I enjoyed no part of watching at all. Such of which included the Cat in the Hat movie for sure, definitely the Golden Compass for me, and I can certainly see how, as a fan of the series, as a fan of that story, and don't get me wrong, 3 movies to tell that story is fucking batshit. Why we need that is batshit. But number 1 worst, I would not have, even with your well-recorded, well-recognized hatred, I would not have put it near number 1.
Yeah, it's
It was the first. I gotta say, it was. First, it was Interview with the Vampire was going to be my number 1, and then immediately I thought of the Hobbit. It's just, I was so disappointed. I
have an honorable mention that may make you think, because.
Well, I want to hear Justin's opine.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
No, yeah, worst ever. It's not in my worst ever. I don't.
Alex, did you like it enough that you went through and you've seen both of them now? You've seen all 3?
I will admit that it was done at the request of Mrs. Wald. She came, my buddy Taylor's wife. She's a very big LOTR Hobbit fan, and she put together 2 separate shindigs in which the second movie was watched, and then later on down the line, when it was released again, the 3rd movie was watched. So I did not pay any money to see, whether through streaming or whatever form, and I certainly didn't go to the theater after the first one.
I did.
And I wouldn't have.
I saw them all in the theater.
Okay.
And I have my problems with them.
Sure.
But I wouldn't. It's not even in my top 10 worst movies of all time list.
Wow. Okay.
Not even close.
I mean, I would really have to go
There's so many more movies
through.
that are much more badder than that.
Much more better.
But is it in your top? Is it in your top 10 worst book to film adaptations of all time?
Yeah, probably. But
Probably.
that's
the point. I'm not talking even about them standing. You have to remember, we're not discussing them standing alone as a movie or what you were entertained with. We're talking about
as a
what
series.
That book is and what they made the movie into. And so that, for me, is adaptation.
I know. I'm with you. I definitely get it, but I just wouldn't have. How about this? Because I know how much you enjoyed the book when it came out, and how much you disliked the movie when it came out. The Da Vinci Code.
That was up there for mine.
And Angels and Demons as an antecedent to that.
Well, Angel and Demons is a much better film and a much better. Yeah, much better. If you're going to watch them, Angels and Demons is the better of the two and a better adaptation of the book. I kind of didn't understand the casting of Tom Hanks, and I don't think that there really is, I think what Justin was talking about with The Great Gatsby and capturing something, I think that with the Da Vinci Code, there is so much in that book. I mean, I would read that book and just for shits and giggles and go research stuff, just out of curiosity, what was fiction, what wasn't, the way that he mixed it. But there was such, high tension and so much in that book, so much emotion, and it just, they did not capture it enough on the screen. I did like the guy that played Silas, the albino character.
Yes, he did.
I thought that he was good and creepy. Yes. And probably the best part of the film, but yeah, Da Vinci Code was one that I looked at, but The Hobbit pissed me off more.
Even more, okay.
That was the feelings bubbling up, because then when I finally picked Fellowship, then I realized how much I really, really hated The Hobbit because of how much I loved The Fellowship and the vast difference between the two for me. So that's that.
That's that. Oh, there were a couple other, real quick, just touching on that.
Yeah, we could do a couple of we could. Oh, they're not books, but there are plenty of Pirates of the Caribbean movies that are really bad.
Yeah, they're just bad movies.
How about worst film to ride adaptation?
Film to ride or ride to film in that case?
Well, no, because it's like they're making, it's like all these movies. Star Wars, you get a Star Wars ride. Back to the Future, we got a Back to the Future ride. King Kong, we got a King Kong ride. And now we're getting some Jimmy Fallon late night roller coaster bullshit. So.
I have a feeling that we may have to come back to this, because I don't know if you guys saw the. This isn't a film. This isn't a movie, a book adaptation, or it might be. But the reboot of Pete's Dragon, which looks exactly the same as the reboot of the Jungle Book trailer. Have you guys seen that?
That's the Cat in the Hat. The Jungle. I think we also must have saw Jungle Book because that was before Star Wars.
Well, no, there's a new trailer.
There's a new Jungle Book.
New trailer, in Scott
the animals actually talking.
Yeah, you get to see.
Oh, so they do speak?
They do speak.
So, no. It's
good.
Amazing.
All right, I'll watch the second.
It looks that Jungle Book.
I was stoked with the first one I saw, but I wasn't anticipating that the animals actually were going to be talking.
Yeah, Idris Elba is the tiger.
Is Shere Khan.
Shere Khan.
Sir Ben Kingsley is Bagheera.
Right.
Who's Baloo?
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Oh.
Christopher Walken is
King Louis, and then choice with Scarlett Johansson as a female Kaa, the snake.
Right.
Okay. What is all this weird gender? Well, we'll make that a topic for next time.
But if you watch, they're doing
Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay. So, there are other things that we've said we would talk about, lightning round. Let us know your thoughts, since this really isn't, live per se, and the website's not up or anything like that.
Right.
So let's just close it out with Amy offering up her assignment for next time.
Squawk, squawk, squawk. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to go because of because I don't think I could personally just do one. And when it comes to music, the three of us are so passionate.
Oh, here we go.
So, my topic for next week is to pick your top 3 movie soundtracks of all time.
Okay. Question.
Okay.
As the resident degree-holding music nerd,
Oh,
are we
Jesus
talking?
Lord.
Are we talking soundtrack?
Yeah, exactly.
Are we talking score? Are we talking both?
Pick your thing that you fucking like the most.
That can include score. That doesn't just have
yes,
to
like,
be...
so if you want to say...
Stop.
Thank you.
I'm being serious.
So if you want... Yes, if there's a score that you like if you're going to pick Star Wars and put that in there, yes,
right.
Anything. That's why I didn't want to make it number 1.
Because there are some fantastic soundtracks out there that are
then you know what? You need to go read...
compilations. All right. Of other works. Fine.
That's your argument for next. That's your argument for next week, motherfucker. Don't do it now.
Can I preface something here? How can we have a war on that? That's purely opinion based. So I'm not going to go like, oh, you're nuts. That soundtrack sucks.
Why not? Everything we just talked about was opinion based.
Film to book to movie adaptations, opinion based for sure. And we're all going to have differing opinions and differing selections. So I think that's a topic I'm willing to go with. So.
Okay. I'm not saying. It just might not yield a definitive, negative discussion.
Well, just don't add Dr. Dolittle 2 soundtrack, and I think we'll be okay.
Oh, go fuck yourself, Planet of the Apes.
Well, no, if you guys honestly think that we could do it, I thought that it was a good one because there's so many to choose from. There's soundtracks that you listen to that are indicative of a particular movie, something you can listen to straight. There's so many ways to go with it. And I think that there's plenty of arguments to be had and made for whatever music you like. So, I mean,
Oh, no, I'm down.
Gotcha.
I think mine's going to be Crossroads, right? That's the only one with Britney Spears in it.
No, isn't she in Drive Me Crazy?
No,
that's right. She has a song, yeah.
She has the song, but she wasn't in it. No.
She wasn't in the movie. She was in the video.
That was Melissa Joan Hart.
She is on V's Magazine 100th cover, by the way.
All right. Okay, so episode I of SIBS Wars, episode negative I of SIBS Wars.
Episode I test.
I test. Yeah, we'll see if this passed the eye test.
All right, so let's just wrap it up, and I'm looking at my notes over here on Evernote. It's the 3 things that that we're not supposed to talk about, which is Jews not in films, What's Next Faggot, and Big Deal in Solo.
Right, we have to make them more concise. I really like the What's Up Faggot. What's Next Faggot. I really like it. I really think it needs to be a segment, and
we can't.
I think if we at least take turns introducing it.
No.
Come on.
No. The only way we could do it is if we had Justin Gazy introduce it.
Yeah, then we could get a recording of Justin Gazy saying it.
So if I can get a gay person just opening up the saying, and we can video edit it in every time of a gay person saying, what's next, faggot? Then it's okay.
It's better than any of us. It's better than any of us saying it. Just saying.
I'm not doing
Can we
it.
say queen?
Should we stop the record button before we continue this conversation?
All right, I'm hitting stop. Goodbye. This has been episode test.